Brian.
Hey, Rumi.
Brian, remember what I said about not coming in while I'm working?
What do you think of my giant toothbrush? Bought it off the internet last week. What?
I don't understand why you bought it.
Are you saying you don't like it?
No,
Are you?
I love it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So today we're gonna break down fast speech. We're gonna talk about how Americans will break the rules and change words so that it's easier to speak. Let's look at the first question that Brian asked. He said, what do you think of my giant toothbrush? Notice that he didn't say, what do you think of my new toothbrush, right? He said, what do you, right? Try that. What are you? We hear the D sound, we don't hear the T in the word what, right? The word do just becomes d. What do you, cool, let's look at the next part. Think am I, right? Not think of my. We say think am I. So the word of just becomes think am I. What do you think of my giant toothbrush? What do you think of my giant toothbrush? What do you think of my giant toothbrush? Another thing you'll notice is that the T in giant is not aspirated. That means that there isn't any air coming out after it. In this case, he just said giant. So his tongue went up to make the T, but he never released his tongue, right? His tongue is like this. Giant. Not giant. Right? A lot of times Americans won't release or aspirate their T's at the ends of words. So we'll just say giant. This is called a held T. So then it sounds like this. What do you think of my giant toothbrush? Okay, so now let's look at the second sentence. I just don't understand why you bought it. In this phrase, we're saying, I just don't. So we're not saying just, right? Whenever there's an S and a T next to each other, we often don't pronounce the final T. We'll just pronounce the S. I just don't, right? And at the end of don't, we have this held T. Once again, don't. I just don't, right? I just don't understand. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I'm not saying understand. I'm just saying understand. Instead of understand, right? You don't have to say understand. We have an N and a D. Whenever we have an N and a D, or an N and a T, sometimes we just won't pronounce the T or the D, right? So it will sound like this. Understand. Another example of this, where there's an N and a T, would be like internet. Internet. How does the internet work? I bought a lot of things on the internet that I had to return. Internet, internet, international, interview, right? So the T in this case is silent. And then we have the second part. Why you bought it? Why you bought it? So in the word it, we have a held T, right? It. We don't say it. It. Why I bought it. Although you actually can say that. You can say I bought it. But a lot of times people will just say it. It. The thing is, you can pronounce the t. You can aspirate the T at the end of words. Americans just don't do it all of the time. If you always aspirate your T's, it'll sound like this. The cat sat on the mat. And that just is hard to say because then you lose all this air. So we tend to say something like this. The cat sat on the mat. Or the cat sat on the mat, right? Where only one is aspirated. In this case, I just said bought it. Bought it. Bought it. You're probably noticing that something weird is happening between bought and it, right? I'm saying bought it. Bought it. It sounds like a really fast D sound, right? The. Bought it. This is the flap T. Basically, it's just a really fast D. Your tongue is just tapping very quickly. Bought it. Bought it. Make sure that your tongue actually touches here, though. Bought it. Bought it. The whole phrase is, I just don't understand why you bought it.
I don't understand why you bought it.
I just don't understand why you bought it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was interesting and enjoyable. Comment below if this was new information for you and if you'd like to learn more about fast speech. See you next time.